It is.
What do you say to voters who are upset that those are the two choices?
Get over yourself.
I don't think it was a very wise statement on her part. How did that work out for her in 2016?
Now Stephen A. going after Hillary. This video is brought to you by TatumStore.com. TatumStore.com. Get the merch link in the description section. Get you one of these Shady Bunch shirts. I don't know why it makes me laugh every time I talk about the Shady Bunch shirt, but man, I'm really like impressed. And I did not think the Shady Bun shirt would do that good. I just thought it was one of the random shirts that we picked, and we just decided to say, oh, let's see what it do. And it has been the most viral shirt that I think we've had other than Don 2.0. But get your shirt today. I'll give you 20% off. Shady20, Shady20, get 20% off your purchase. It's actually 20% off the entire store. I don't think it's just the shirt. I don't know. Go in there and try it out. Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I go live and make a video. You already know what to do. Let's get into this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Stephen A. I keep talking about Stephen A. because he's a relevant figure, and we are all watching his transition in public. Now, Stephen A., to me, and this is just my honest opinion about Stephen A., I think he's a smart guy. I think he has good commentary. He's passionate. I think you have to give him some respect from the longevity of his career. I think that Stephen A. Smith is just lacking a little bit of masculinity in that he will not be honest about what he really want to do because he's afraid of what people think about him. It's no way in the world, bro, Stephen A. can continue to talk about Biden, talk about the Democrats, talk about what voters view Trump as to be, and then now talking about Hillary Clinton and not vote for Republicans. Only reason he's doing that because he don't want to get canceled. Stephen A. know I'm not lying. He probably watched one of my videos. He know I'm not lying. The fear is how many black people are going to turn on you if you actually say you're going to vote for Donald Trump. And Stephen A. don't want that smoke with black people. That's why his tune is a certain way. Then when he get on the thing with black people, with her, he start to water his true sentiment down a little bit. Because on his regular show, he's all in. And then on a show like this, he kind of like trying to be lukewarm. But he still called Hillary Clinton out, which I think is pretty shocking. And it should be a telltale sign that he should be voting for Republicans if he's smart. Roll the clip.
I don't think it was a very wise statement on her part. How did that work out for her in 2016? I think that's something that we have to recognize. Yes, she won the popular vote, but at the end of the day, she wasn't the president of the United States. It was him. You can look at her not campaigning in Wisconsin in the last days, not campaigning in Pennsylvania in the last days. You can look at some of the stuff that they were saying about her that sort of distracted things from where it should have been in terms of Comey and his report from the FBI. You can bring up a whole bunch of things, but at the end of the day, the last thing you need to do is to do anything that could agitate a potential voter in this particular election.
What do you make about the actual
Comey and his report? Let's not go back and forget. Comey came out and said that she sent and received classified information on a private server in her house, which is super duper illegal. And she lied about it to the public. Cannot be trusted. She should have went to jail over that. But somehow they said, I don't recommend. It's the same thing they did with Joe Biden. Joe Biden had top secret documents in his house, but I think he's too old to testify. What?
argument that she's making? I mean, she's basically saying two old people, yes. But
they only can say they're old because they're two men. If this was two women running and you said two old women, people be losing their socks. Roll the clip.
they're substantively different. I mean, Trump has 91 counts against him.
Well,
and
listen.
if you're
Nobody's brought that up more than me. Four indictments, 91 counts, impeached twice. I'm not voting for him. I've said that to a lot of people.
Who you gonna vote for, Stephen A? Who you gonna vote for? Put the clown hat on right now. Who you gonna vote for?
I've said that to you. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that at some point in time, you got to take into account what the voters thinking about. The voters, a lot of them out there, tens of millions of them out there, by the way, don't care what he's going through right now. They don't care about his guilt or innocence, his perceived guilt or innocence. They don't care about the 91 counts. They're thinking about their lives. And a lot of times we see politicians taking the positions that they're taking. And while we can respect their candor and their honesty, they do seem a bit detached at times from what the voters are actually feeling and what the voters are actually thinking. Nobody wants to hear that from Hillary Rodham Clinton at this particular moment in time, because especially if you're Joe Biden, what are you really worried about right now? You're worried about folks coming to the polls. You're worried about them showing up to the polls to vote for you. You're not worried even about them voting for Trump. You're worried about them not showing up to vote for you. That doesn't exactly encourage them to get up out of their seats and go to the polls.
Now, Stephen A., I gotta address this real quick. Now, you're saying tens of millions of people are looking at, and if he's honest, they're looking at the economy. They're looking at inflation. They're looking at interest rates. They're looking at the value, the quality of life in the communities that they live. Whether it's illegals flooding their communities, taking all the resources with no end. In many of these cases, there's no end in sight. They have no plan to stop illegal immigration from coming into this country and coming into your community, taking your jobs, taking your resources and your tax dollars. People are worried about that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's the outliers of abortion and there's the outlier of, trans stupidity. But at the end of the day, none of that put food on your table or make you struggle to put food on your table. None of that makes a person that's going to renew their lease at an apartment complex is looking at the fact their lease agreement then went up like $2,000 a month and they don't know how they're going to afford that. Somebody got a roommate and they work a full-time job with kids and they got to get a roommate because they can't afford to live on their own. That stuff is what people are actually experiencing. Some of this other political charge stuff make people emotional, but people are terrified at the direction of the economy. They're watching their stock plummet. They're watching their 401k get eaten up. And then when they go to the public and they go to when they go to the politicians, they don't have an answer for this. They're just continuing to push propaganda, continue to push virtue signals. They're not actually trying to work for the people. And for Stephen A. to be smart enough to say all the stuff he said, dumb enough to say, I'm not voting for Trump. Who you voting for, Stephen A.? Listen, man, if you're a smart man, which I'm hoping that you are, you only have two options. You're going to vote for the Republican, you're going to vote for the Democrat, or you're going to protest the Democrat or Republican by voting for a third party. Your vote doesn't count if you don't vote for the Republican or the Democrat. Kennedy is not going to win, ever. It's not even close. He's not going to win. He's probably going to take maybe 20% of the vote, which is significant if it comes from one political party. He's probably take a small percentage of the vote. I only think 20%. He'd probably take like 6% of the vote. But then the two people that can actually run the country is going to end up being Joe Biden or Donald Trump. And so what, you're not going to sit out the vote? Quit being silly, man. Just be honest and say I'm voting for Trump and just let it go, bro. You can't vote for these Democrats. You already came on the show and said that the Democrats ain't done nothing for black people. You know they haven't. Can't speak of a policy. But because you're on CNN in front of a black girl, you feel like you owe it to the people, Wakanda forever, for you to kind of slow roll your choice to vote for Donald Trump. That's how I honestly feel. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.